Welcome to the Tearing It Up podcast. I'm your host, Taryn. We'll be tearing it up, tearing it down, and tearing it apart, dissecting all things related to those who deviate from the standard. From leaders of their industry to leaders of mediocrity, and maybe a gear review or two thrown in. We shoot the shit and let the conversations flow, so if that's not your style, this may not be for you. Otherwise, listen in. Hope to light a fire in you somehow. Hello, world. We're back.
Together.
We are.
Physically.
We are breaking a record here in 2024 for in-person recordings. It's awesome. Although last week with Marley Blonsky, we weren't in person.
Yeah, but
I
were
keep thinking
in the same city.
I know, I keep thinking we were in person because we were both in Tacoma. I'm like, oh yeah, we know we still Zoomed it because of work and things and appointments and whatnot. But we're still just hitting these recordings well in record timing for being in the same city. It's awesome. It's Feels great. Good. Yeah. But I leave Tacoma tomorrow.
No, so many feelings about that, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
as always.
As always, yeah. And we've been together, not together for like 3 weeks now. Yeah. It feels like June 17th or 18th. Knuckles. Yeah. So it'll be crazy. It'll be so weird to like not have you minutes away.
I know.
It's like it'll be just an adjustment because it's been weird. It's felt like I've been home in Washington longer than I have because you've been around for the last few weeks, and it was kind of a staycation-ish when I was home. I mean, I worked, but we were doing things and doing the kind of like the Tahoe quintessential like Tahoe stuff when you were there that I don't normally really do as much of anymore, which is dumb. I should still be, but you know, dock days, lake days, biking,
paddling.
Just like doing all the things. So I feel like once I get home, I'm like, oh wait, like real hard reality to it's summer work time, but
keep the momentum going.
Yeah, that's the thing. Where I live is like, no, I should be able to do these things. I can do all these things before work, after work, and whatnot. It's just about, it takes still energy and to have enough energy to get out and do things. And having just had a birthday, I feel older, and it is harder to do all the things. And
it really is.
Yeah, it's hard to work and keep up with it all and have the same amount of fun that at one point we did. And but you also just really appreciate and enjoy the downtime more.
Totally.
So it's not necessarily like less fun.
Yeah.
That's just what I want in life right now is more relaxing or whatever.
Different capacity, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So it's been a whirlwind of a few weeks, that's for sure. My birthday, 4th of July, sturdy dirty.
Yeah.
And
family visits.
Yeah, so much. And then tomorrow I head out. I have to go to Eureka for some dovetail things. And Eureka, California, which I just forgot really how far it was from Tacoma. And this is why I never actually end up planning, like doing this route of seeing these key accounts on my way to or from Washington. Because I'm like, oh yeah, it's not really on the way.
Yeah. So
it's 9 hours from here, but I already did plan on spending the night, Tuesday night, because I knew that it wasn't going to be a doable one day.
Yeah, like, that's a lot.
Go to Eureka, do the line showing, and then drive to Truckee. Like, no, that's easily, what's 9 plus 5? 16?
14.
What's 9 plus 6? 15.
Yeah.
Plus, like, stopping, and so, it'd be, like, 17-hour day or something.
Day.
Yeah, by myself. Plus then getting home and having to de-bear proof of the house and stuff. So, taking a day, got a hotel booked, and I was thinking, like, dang, I'm gonna have my bike and stuff. I really should have planned this even better to, like, go bike or something, But you know what? I'm just so ready to be home too, and I've been gone so long. I need to get home and get back into town at a decent time to get my puppies and get our house situated and hope that no animals moved into it while we were gone, because Andrew's gone too. And then it's right back to it. It'll be like nothing ever happened.
Yeah. Just done and dusted.
Done and dusted. Like, freaking midway through July.
Yeah,
this
seriously.
coming weekend.
I know,
so
I can't believe it.
It's
I
nuts.
I cannot. But summer is here and it is fucking hot.
Yeah. I think no matter where you're at right now, it's hot.
Yeah.
It's hot in Tacoma. It's hot in Truckee. In the 90s in both of those places. So I was like, well, I'm definitely not getting any reprieve from the heat when I go home. That's for sure.
How do you keep the trailer cool?
We just keep it closed down. I mean, same thing with the house. Like, we don't have AC. The house in town, no one really does. It's like here in Tacoma, no one had AC at one point in time. There was no AC. I remember being like 20. I was 21 because we went to a bar. I was at least 21, but I think I was at Jamba Juice still, because I also have a core memory of going into the freezer. Like, we were hitting triple digit days, like record breaking shit, like 104, 105 days. And me and I think it was my friend Jesse Costello that we were going out to a bar, like, and we were just trying to find a bar that had AC, but no one in Tacoma has AC. We've never needed it.
Yeah.
And now my brother has it. They've installed it in their house. You've got your little portable thing. My mom has that for their house. And so many people do, because it's way more often you're getting these 90 plus degree days. And so the same thing in Tahoe, there's more people that will have these AC units, or obviously in newer houses or something, people getting them installed. But we just always keep all the blinds shut during the day, and at night, 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, whatever it may be, start open the windows to get the cross breeze coming through, leave them open all night, wake up, it's like nice and chilly, and then you try to trap all that cool air in the house. So same situation in the fifth wheel. We do have a bit of shade. We get a little more wind being up on the ridge, but yeah, she gets pretty toasty in there. And we've been lucky the last couple summers that we've been up there that we can just be outside in the evenings or something.
Hopefully the mosquitoes aren't as bad as they were that one night. That was so gnarly. Tug got tore up.
He did. Tug got lots of bites. And then we figured out that why Piglet probably didn't was because his fur is so much thicker that they probably couldn't get through his fur to his skin. But yeah, hopefully the bugs are a little less rampant than they were. And there is a fire up there that just started last night, Sunday the 7th. I've heard, I haven't read these links, I've just read a couple comments, people saying something about some campers started a campfire and left it unattended at some point, which there is a burn ban in Tahoe. There has been one since about Memorial Day weekend, I think. So that's a bummer that anyone did that anyways. And I don't know if it's true or not, if that's how it was started. There's not an official release about it, but it is up towards Donner Summit. So I'm hoping, as of now too, I don't think there's really any containment of it. So I got to keep my eye on that and see if it will affect like the highway or any of the interstate coming home. Because there's an evacuation. It's in Soda Springs. There's an evacuation up there in those houses. And yeah, I'm like, man, if it gets, more out of control, depending on which direction it goes or anything, I sure hope it doesn't. But yeah, I gotta keep that on the radar coming home. Yeah. And it's just a shame that it was possibly people. Possibly people, know.
There was a teen who started a fire over in Wenatchee on the 4th of July.
I heard that there is a few set in Wenatchee from fireworks.
Yeah.
On the 4th, and
I hate it.
Yeah, it's awful. It's so awful. I mean, it's so brown around here already, so hot, and the thing that we have to worry about a lot in Tahoe is the wind. We get a lot of wind still in the summer, so that, I mean, a lot of places, obviously, with wildfires, that's what happens, but it's overnight, this fire did kick up some, and it was probably winds or something, but yeah, it's July. No one wants a summer full of smoke, and so yeah, that would suck drastically. That's the thing. Even at night, we couldn't open our windows a couple years ago to cool the house down in the evenings because it was so smoky, and I'd just wake up with like a headache. Just so yeah, you have to keep everything closed. And another reason why I think more people will have AC units is because of the wildfires that are happening more often. You can't keep your windows open. You can't get that fresh air. It's gnarly, and yeah, hopefully this one gets under control quick. And God, I sure hope that we can make it through summer with minimal fires everywhere on the West, everywhere in general.
It would be a dream. It would be a dream.
Yeah. Speaking of this heat, though, so we did the Sturdy Dirty this past weekend, Saturday, July 8th. Oh, no, July 6th, my birthday.
Yeah, your freaking birthday, dude.
Yeah, I keep forgetting, honestly. It just didn't feel like my birthday. As I get older, it just doesn't, because I'm not, like, you know, excited, like, oh, it's my birthday, I got a party or something going on, you know? I never really have any plans, and I think I was really thinking a lot more about the race and the heat and whatnot, but we both did it.
Yeah.
We finished it.
Yeah.
Got it done. It was killer. I think a lot of people got really zonked by the heat.
It was gnarly.
We started, I think the first groups took off around 9:15. By the time Amber and I started, it was about 10:15 or so. And, you know, you take your time climbing. It's an enduro. And a lot of people, I heard them chattering about skipping some aid stations because they just wanted to get the climb done and just get the whole thing done, get out of the heat. So I understand that. But for me, I really need to take time climbing so I have energy left for the down, ideally, but that's not what happened. I did not have any energy for the down. Man, my whole body and legs were just shot on the first stage even. A lot of snafus. It was not my day. Like, not my day for riding whatsoever. And those suck because when you go on a ride with your friend or something and you're just not, it's just not there. It's like, you know, whatever, but I'll go out again.
Yeah.
But when it happens at like an event, you're like,
son of a...
Yeah, and I mean...
And not just any event, a race.
Yeah, so we've talked, obviously, in length about the Sturdy Dirty for the past few months. Like, ever since the Sturdy Bees were on and registration opened, we've been chatting about it. For me, it was not, like, a competitive thing whatsoever. It's just fun. But, man... What I'm more disappointed in, I'm not disappointed in, like, my time, because, shoot, I wanted to be, like, in the top 10 or something like that. It's, like, how my body felt that I'm so much more disappointed in, and, like, that gave me the mental struggles, and I felt emotionally hungover on Sunday, because it was just, like, dang, just so many, like, slaps in the face that I felt like my body was failing me.
Yeah.
And... like, shit, you know, I've been trying to figure out for a long time and just keep hoping, you know, it's going to go away and that one day I'm going to go ride my bike and feel really good and like, oh, look at that. There I am. I'm coming back. I'm I'm feeling okay, because I've never been the fastest by any means, especially climbing, but noticeably things feeling and getting worse is, like, not good, especially when no one has any idea of, like, oh, you should, or like, oh, you should check this out, or this happened to me, and, you know, nothing like that. So it just feels super overwhelming with, like, what is this? Is this just, like, getting older? But I'm like, no, like, to an extent, maybe, and it could be a mixture of a ton of different things, so that's frustrating, but yeah, because it was more so my just complete and utter disappointment in, like I said, my body just not feeling good, and the frustration there of, like, what the fuck is going on? Because the first stage, it was more of technical snafus of GoPro flying off my handlebars, knew I should have taken it off, popping up my dropper seat right as I dropped down this little hill, and then accidentally slamming on my front brakes. So I knew stage 1 was done for, and then after that too, it was just the absolute fatigue, and then eating shit on the final stage. Like, really bad.
Really bad. That was scary.
I mean, I made it. I got up. I was able to finish the ride, but it was a hard crash. I was definitely dazed for a second after because I slammed my head, and that's the first thing I noticed. Was like, oh no. And luckily, a woman on course saw it, just like a gal out there volunteering, and for those reasons.
Yeah.
So she ran out to me quickly and got to me and checked me out, checked out my helmet and everything. And honestly, I think she was probably like, would have maybe said, don't, like, hold on, take a minute. I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
I wish I could have known how long I was actually there.
Yeah.
Like, how long I waited, how many minutes that
took.
Because it felt like it was pretty quick. And I probably should have guessed that.
It was pretty quick. I think there were like 2 or 3 riders, because I was right after you. And as I was coming down, another woman was like, rider down ahead. And I was like, oh, fuck. And then I came up on you and that lady who helped you. And I was like, oh, God.
Yeah.
But the women who were behind you were like sport pro, and one of them podiumed, and they were going fucking fast. Like, seeing them fly out of there, I was like, holy
yeah,
that's fast.
Totally.
But you were just like 2 or 3 people. I would say it was pretty quick, maybe like a minute and a half.
Yeah.
Maybe 2.
I think that I know you, and I think then 2 others, I think, passed. Because that was the thing, of just trying to find a time to get back in, because at that point there was a mix of categories. So, which I didn't think about in the moment because I was super like dazed, whatever. And if I had thought about it, maybe then we could have radioed and found out where the mix was. But I'm jumping in now into the mix of some of these sport girls, which they did definitely come up on me. It took I had some time. I got down a bit of the course. It wasn't really until the bottom of the last stage that these 2 gals passed me, but because by then I rode the rest of it pretty slow, and my back leg was like killing me, super tired, and I was just like, fuck, I just want to be off this course. I almost stopped and cried at that point. I was like,
I would,
dude, just get me out of here. Like, this sucked. And it's a bummer because I feel like I was negative. I talked about this a little bit because when people ask, like, how was it? I was like, awful. Because, like, the riding was awful for me, but not the entire experience of the day. I was still having a good time. Glad to be up there. But for me, the riding just didn't go well. And, I'm just being honest. I didn't want to be like, oh, yeah, okay. I was like, the riding part sucked, but the entire experience of the day, like, did not. And obviously it's hard to convey.
Yes. Yes, when you're like stoked and with your friends and having fun, but you were being real the whole time, I feel like. And I appreciate that about you, because everybody's experience is entirely different, And
I was trying to be, just honest without being like super negative, like, this sucks, I don't want to be here, blah blah blah. Like, hey, the writing sucks, but like, yeah, I'm here. And also just in my tone, I wasn't going between, oh, it sucks, and I'm having a great time. It's like, oh, it sucks, but I'm having a good time. So I'm like, how much of any of it was believable? I don't know. But yeah, and then at this end, totally zonked and dead, super hot. The rest of the event was full sun, and I feel like we for sure didn't have the same energy that we had last year.
No, not even close.
I raced the light last year, and you didn't race
at all,
and it wasn't as hot.
Yeah.
So I just kind of figured, like, man, to be able to do what we did last year, like, record there, like, I don't think I can race.
Yeah, I didn't have it in me.
Unless we did the light course, because, it takes so much energy out of you that I'm like, I can't go sit and talk. We went back to our camp and sat for a bit, visited with our friends, and it was really hard to peel myself back up and even go down for the raffle and awards. But I was like, I can't make a sentence, so I can't really, the thought of trying to set up a recording area and talk to people, I was like, I don't think we're gonna get much out of our brains.
No, I was zonked. That was a lot.
It was, and so I mentioned, like, hey, this might be it for me, racing the Sturdy. I love this event, and I want to come back, but, and I had even thought about it this year. Like, maybe for me, now that I saw it once, did it, loved it, it was great, I want to be here, I want to support this, but maybe my place in it is as a supporter, and so I could be on the course, could volunteer for multiple things, and then also have a little more, what's it called? Just control over my schedule, I guess, or where I'm at and energy levels and all things, and be set up as a, like almost vendor or something.
Yeah, almost
like,
vendor. I like that.
We're there set up and can talk to people throughout the day, but that's what we're there for. It's hard to be there to race and do podcast stuff, kind of like business and fun and all the things. So I think I have to kind of choose there. And as I said that just 2 days ago, an announcement was made from this mountain bike group, Mountain Bike Experience in California, that they're doing their first all-women's California Enduro. Sick. And I was like, oh, who's about to sign up for that?
You?
Yeah.
Yes. Awesome.
And I was like, oh my God, I just told Amber and Becca, like, if I sign up for the Sturdy next year, you guys really need to check in with me and be like, okay, are you sure? But again, that's just because of my own, like, check in to make sure, like, have you done anything to check on your body? Like, are you sure about this? Are you doing some things, like taking some, control or accountability over this and figuring your shit out? Or are you just going to put yourself through the ringer again?
Got it. Noted.
And that's how I felt with
this. Heard it here first, folks.
Yeah, that's how I felt with this California Women's Enduro. Was like, well, it's October, so I could sign up. And that maybe that'll be a catalyst to, okay, let's see what's going on. What can we figure out between now and then?
Yeah.
But yeah, because it's fun. But today took so much energy out of me that I'm like, fuck, now I can't do anything that I wanted to on the podcast side of things.
Yeah. And girl, same.
Yeah.
It's just a lot.
But for the Sturdy, that might be more of the kind of focus. And for this California one, like, if I just want to race that one, then that's totally different. Trying to do all the things at once, that's always my problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
I got to pick the lane when it comes to the events. Do I want to be the participant, or am I there as the supporter and trying to, like, do some business shit too?
Yeah. Am I here for business or torture?
Yep. Yeah. Yes, exactly. Or both. Yeah. But yeah, all in all, it was great. I was super happy to experience it with you and do the longer course. Like,
I'm glad we stuck together.
Yeah, definitely.
Couldn't have had it any other way.
Yes. I'm glad that we got to experience more of the course rather than just the one stage of the light. But fuck it. I mean, I always thought that too. Like, well, if I want to, I can just stick to that one. Just like a little bit of race, dip your toes in, having a little bit of fun on course. But I know that it doesn't take much out of me, and I have plenty of time to recover for the day to do stuff.
Yeah.
I just don't want to feel like I shouldn't be doing the light as a maybe more experienced person than. Yeah. But no, like, people there, like Sam that we met. I mean, she was doing it with her daughter riding shotgun.
Yeah, badass. Shout out to that badass.
That was crazy. Yeah. So there's, just because you have experience riding, I feel like the Sturdy is very good about welcoming you to do whatever category you feel comfortable in. Because, again, we weren't trying to win. And are we beginner mountain bikers? No, but we're not trying to go the fastest in the world.
Fuck,
and
no.
It's only my second race, Amber's first race, so we looked at it that way, like, well, race-wise, we're beginners. Yeah. Like, we're not racing down these things, but yes, we can handle the terrain. Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people look at it that way, too. It's like, I don't want to do the full sport or expert course. I just want to have a little bit of fun, and the light seems like it would be my jam.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe they could have a category in the light that's like competitive light, non-competitive light.
Yeah, seriously.
Like, even with beginner.
Speaking of categories, they had an adaptive category this year for the first time.
Yeah, that I really wish that's the thing too. I want to be able to like see that happen.
Yeah.
I'd love to be out on the course and watching, like in a section where I can watch some of these racers come by. So that's where with the Sturdy, I'm thinking like my place is
supporting.
Gonna be supporting, not participating in the race itself, because there's so many fucking aspects of it I want to see and be involved in.
Yeah.
And I've experienced the race side,
Mm-hmm.
and you know, that's me wanting to experience all sides of everything.
I think that's a great thing to want to do.
Yeah. So there was 5 riders in the adaptive category.
About there, yeah.
A couple e-bikers. I think there's 2 e-bikers and then 3 on the not just different bikes with, I don't know how you one was like hands forward, legs back, and the other guy was legs forward, sitting upright. And then I don't know what the third was, but yeah, I'm excited to see that grow, and I think it will very much. You know, first year for the adaptive, and as we heard from, was it Erica? The gal that you know, is that her name, Erica?
Yeah.
She was the one who brought it to my attention, at least, that there is no other enduros that even offer an adaptive category.
Big deal, Sturdy Dirty.
If you know of some, awesome, let us know. But obviously, it's still, if they do exist, it's not very well known or a lot of. So that made even a bigger impact to me, the fact that if there really is no other enduros that offer adaptive in the way that the Sturdy did, like, that's even more amazing that they did it, because what she was saying is there is adaptive categories, but in the highly competitive routes, where you're doing like 4,000 to 5,000 feet of elevation. Ugh. So there's no kind of light or middle ground where you're just doing 1,000 feet of climbing or 1,200 or whatever. So it's either a really super competitive e-bike class, but nothing, like this, where the Sturdy is like, be competitive or don't. Mm-hmm. All are welcome. And so, yes, hats off to you, Sturdy Dirty, for the adaptive category. Seriously. Can't wait to hear, the feedback from the racers, and hopefully that the word gets out that it grows, like, so much more next year with participants in it. And I think just having actually done it this year and people seeing it happen, that it'll grow for sure. And you got to do it to learn. Yeah. You're not going to know until you try. So for real. It's amazing all around. Yeah. Great weekend, 10-year anniversary. Yep. So happy we got to be there. Wish we could have got to talk to people more and done some recording there, but it's the way the cards fell. Yep. And can't wait to be there next year and see how we show up next year. Yeah,
love that. Same. Yeah. Because racing ain't for me.
Yeah. Let's hear about your experience with this first race. And first, I mean, like, when's the last time you did any kind of
never
competition, like, never. At all?
Never.
Softball in high school, fast pitch?
Probably.
Yeah.
She's not competitive at all.
But that's okay. You don't have to be.
Yeah. No, it was really great. It was cool to see all the aid stations and see how the course is all set up in connection with the aid stations, obviously, and how creative people got, and the people that you frequently would see throughout the race and be like, oh, hey, how you doing? How did your last one go? How you feeling? Like, what's up with your bike? Like, there were just like so many good conversations between riders, and the camaraderie, especially in that PCT part of the race, because going up that is a motherfucker, and you're just like piggybacking people. It's like you would pass someone and then they would pass you, and and the whole, so many like, you got it, push it. It was just like so good to feel that and see it and be a part of it.
A race environment.
And just the occurring people that you would see as well. And I think doing it with a buddy is definitely my favorite. We had another racer in our category, Curdy. What up, Kurt?
Oh, yeah.
Who we were riding with at first, and she tried to catch up with a friend and ended up riding alone for a bit and was like, man, I wish I would have just like stayed with you guys or all this other kind of stuff. So it's like, it's just great to see like people's strategies and all the different experiences. And yeah, it's just so fucking much. Like when you first show up, we showed up Friday night and did the overnight camping, and there's a handful of people there. And then the day of, to see how many people roll in and do this race and then dip, I'm like, man, that's a big day.
Yeah.
And like, I understand people probably rent Airbnbs nearby and like what have you, but there's so many fucking people. There was like 300 plus racers.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yep. Yeah, and so much support too from people who were racing with their families.
Yeah.
Like the amount of like, even we mentioned at camping, there was quite a few people with their partners, a couple with some kids with them, dogs, and a whole family affair, which was really cool to see too. I'm just so removed from that in biking. It's interesting thinking about, you know, growing up wrestling in that sport. We had that, you know, but seeing it biking and these like people who are families or partners that are so involved with it and each other that their partners are out on course, like Daniela, Danny, yeah. You know, her husband being there and friends and out on the course, like waiting for her to come by. It's so cool and awesome. I don't know how many other enduros, like I'm sure a lot of them you can get out on course and do that, but with the sturdy, you know, people be in costumes and stuff like that, and so fun. And you
can have shots of alcohol.
Yes, which we did at the pickle station. And I will say that is not why I crashed.
Yeah, no.
But yeah, such a cool event. And did you feel when we got to the top, like, you know, the up, you're not timed on at all. Did it mess with you at all, though? Like, being in a group of people, did you feel like you had to keep up at all, even on the climb? Or were you totally just, like, chill, cruising at your own pace on the climb?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I would say, because normally with a climb, I like to try to get it done as much as I can, but I also love riding with friends, and I usually try to adapt to like whatever my friend's pace is, especially if it's the party pace in the back. Holler, always down for sweeping the rear end, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, I would say it helped my cadence a little bit, having someone in front of me just like pedaling the whole time.
A little motivation.
Totally. Yeah. Totally. But I definitely kept it in my head like, hey, this is going to be a big day. You're already fucking tired, you old hag. Like, don't need to push it. Don't need to push it. So yeah, I was doing a little bit of both.
How did you feel at the top when we finally got to the top of stage 1 and there's the lineup of racers going down, and to top all that off, you had never done this trail section that we were doing?
A little bit nervous, but otherwise fine. I'm pretty good at not letting stuff like that get to my head. Also, the guy who was like giving me the countdown, I was like, oh my God, you look familiar. I was like, did you go to my high school? And he was like, no. And I was like, did you go to my middle school? And he said, yeah. And then he said my last name, and I was like, oh, hey.
Oh, that's hilarious.
I've seen him at a few mountain biking events. Don't remember his name, sorry. But he's a sweet guy, and yeah, it was just, I was like, oh shit, and he was like, all right, go, and I was like, okay, and I pushed myself, like I tried to go fast as I prefer to go, and I feel like I did good. Like I'm feeling confident with where my riding is, like, especially because I very much so just want to do it athleisurely. Like I'm not, I just want to go places and see places. Like I don't need to push. This proved to me that I don't need to push myself any further than what I'm already pushing myself.
That's good. So you feel good of like, hey, this was awesome. I feel in a good place. You got 14th, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Because especially when you're not even trying to go fast, you know, you just want to.
So scary.
Just to see, like, oh, this is where I'm standing, and at a regular old pace that I'm not trying to do anything extraordinary. I sit right here in the middle of the pack, and I think that's a great place to be, except when you're not trying to be competitive whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just a little reassurance in your ability. Like, hey, look, I'm doing pretty cool things.
Yeah.
I'm doing good.
Yeah.
And I feel comfortable.
Yeah, and it would be really cool to be able to do this with my son when he's big enough to want to do it and also have the capacity, because it's so much.
Well, thinking about, even getting to certain trails that are a little bit flowy, still can be quite the climb to
definitely.
get there, to have enough, downhill that's like, in your opinion, worth it.
And sustainable and safe.
Yeah. It's got to be hard to get out there with kids and keeping all those factors into account. What's the climb? How long is that going to take? And then is the down going to be sustainable? And
did I bring enough tools? Do I have enough snacks? Do I have enough, like, just everything that goes into it? And this is someone who, like, I'm someone who loves to climb and, like, get out there and do it. And even I'm like, this is a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
It's a lot. It's a lot. And just, like, putting yourself out there in nature, and you just never know. It adds to the risk, but it's so worth it. It's worth it to risk it for the biscuit, the biking biscuit.
Yeah, risk it for the biscuit.
Yeah, risk it for the biking biscuit. It's so fucking worth it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I am, for a second, I was like, I'm not getting on my bike again for a while.
Yeah, same.
I was like, fuck this thing, man. Never want to see this again. Setting it on fire. And then today I almost rode my bike over here.
I mean, we can go on a bike ride after this.
But it's so warm, and I would have my backpack with my laptop microphone and everything. Because I was like, I'm going to my brother's later, so I could have my mom come pick me up. I'm like, I don't know if my bike will fit in her truck, and it's 90 fucking degrees, and it's gonna be 1:00. Like, no, I don't need to ride around the cement at 1. But it was good to feel like, okay, I had a little bit of an emotional hangover yesterday. Woke up super bummed, really tired, missed the shit out of Andrew because I feel like it's been like 3 weeks since I've seen him really or spent any time with him. Missed my dogs, and just wanted to be in the comfort of my home. And it's so weird, I'm in my childhood home with my family and whatnot. But again, as we've talked about a ton of times here, like the heart in two places. Ugh. It's like really hard of like, yeah, I just want to go home. Like but when I'm home sometimes in Tahoe, I'm like, yeah, I want to go home. I want to see my mom and dad. I need my dad. Mm-hmm. But there's times where I'm like, I need Andrew. Like, I need him. I want him. And so
he's your boy.
Yeah, that was like really getting to me yesterday. And again, just kind of feeling disappointed with like, what the hell is wrong with me? I can't do anything that I really want to. There's like a group mountain bike ride that the CrossFit gym's doing, and I just feel really discouraged from doing a ride with anybody. And I need to figure out like what's going on with me, because I just know what I go through mentally being with other people and them riding and feeling like I'm holding them back. Even when people like riding with you, it's great. I love it. And no matter how much I'm like, no, it's fine. It's like, but it's not, because not for me as far as like, wow, it puts in perspective how far off my pace is. And it hits harder of like, oh my God, this really is a problem, rather than when I'm by myself and I'm like, can compare my own times to like what I did last time or something.
Yeah.
And again, this isn't like, okay, yeah, just getting older and things happen. Like, there's like significant other things going on that are of concern to me, not just the typical shit. So yeah, it's just like, no, what the heck? I'm bummed. What the fuck's wrong with my body, and how do I figure it out? But got outside yesterday, talked with my sister-in-law a bit, hung out with the niece and nephew in the water of the Puget Sound, and I got a bit reinvigorated.
Yay.
So I was able to kind of snap out of that. Still need to figure out like what's going on, because I'm sure that there's something. There's just shit not right.
Yeah.
But
you know your body best.
Yeah. And I was just got out of that headspace because I could get back on my bike. I am looking forward to getting back to Tahoe and riding some of my favorite trails, and just like, not pushing myself, but still getting out there while trying to figure things out and try to relieve some of the pressure of doing anything extreme. That's not what I'm trying to do. But like, how can I enjoy what I like to do while figuring things out? I don't want to have to stop.
Yeah.
Biking. I'm also afraid to stop. And like if I already feel
lose
this
momentum.
way. Yeah. So yeah, it's an interesting place, but for a minute, like I said, I was like, I can't get on my bike. I'm not meant to be here.
Yeah.
And as we've just had these conversations with like Taylor Ann of Ride Force and Marley Blonsky of All Bodies on Bikes, like there's different paces and different abilities and things, and I understand all of that so much. It's always been slower, but something else has to give a little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit. I'm not trying to like go from 0 to 60 by any means, but the trend that I'm having downward doesn't seem quite right.
Yeah, it's not okay. It's not sitting right with you.
Yeah.
And
for as much as I try,
yes,
the trending downward, something's not adding up.
And you can get these like diagnoses, you know what I mean? Like you can work with a medical team, but I'm just such a big proponent of you know your body best.
Yeah.
Do some self-diagnoses, do some research,
Yep.
do some elimination diet,
Yeah.
do some continue being active, continue doing all this stuff, but just like tweak things in your life here and there to like be like narrow it down, you know what I mean? And you can do that with diet, you can do that with activity, you can do that with so many things, but just I believe that you have the ability and wherewithal, and you know your body enough that you can do a self-diagnosis and be like, this is it. Or
this is what's not working. And
yes,
that's the thing
yes.
with our healthcare in this country is that you do have to do all
you
this.
You have to. You are your biggest advocate.
Yeah, and we have to do it because if we don't, like no one else gives us some of these answers. Yeah. So unfortunately, you do have to go through a lot of trial and error to, you know, try to pinpoint things a little bit more, you know, what do you call cancel things out, like
cross cancellation,
just
math.
Yeah. Just to know that hey, it's not eliminate this or that, like okay, that's not working.
Yep.
Or it's definitely not that, whatever. So yeah, and
run some tests.
It's overwhelming. It takes a lot of work, you know. A fucking elimination diet. Like what? Like yeah. But
and our moms aren't making our doctor's appointments for us anymore.
No, they're not, and they're not in the room like, nope, check this. She said this, you know, because you get in there and you're like,
your mom's like asking all the questions and you're like, dang, I never would have thought to like ask that, you know,
or you have it planned and then you get nervous. Because I do that a lot with people.
Totally.
Where even for the podcast or something, seeing a person in real life and not going up and talking to them and saying, hey, I love you and I want you on my podcast, you know, like a chicken out. And so same thing with the doctor. Like, no, I'm going to go stand my ground. I'm going to tell them I want this test and that. And you're like, okay, well, like they didn't bring it up, so I didn't bring it up, you know? And you're like, oh, missed my chance.
Or like in meetings, you're like, I have this thought, but I don't want to say it out loud.
And I'm in a unique position in Truckee, my general physical doctor or whatever physician. I know her like outside of doctor world. I knew her before she happened to randomly be my doctor. I had no idea it was her, and I'm like, oh, look at that. So I feel comfortable with her is my point, that I should be able to talk to her and be open and say, hey, and really try to get some guidance from her. Same with my naturopath that I went to. She knew a lot of my background. I knew her outside of that first, and it's still so hard. But yeah, I don't know. Something's got to give. So I need to do some work. I need to get some blood work done. And so just kind of.
Do you take vitamins?
Things? No.
Me neither. I took mine today though.
I've always been really bad at taking supplements regularly.
Girl thing.
Because of, again, this could be looked at as an excuse, as everything is, but my schedule has never been consistent. So especially vitamins that you have to take with breakfast or something, I don't eat at the same time every day. I don't eat the same thing every day. And I got that a blend jet that I love, a little USB chargeable blender, and that was kept me going for quite a while, where I could just make my smoothie and I could then blend it after the gym, or it was nice to have and to stay a little bit more consistent with getting food in immediately after a workout. But I've dropped off that again, since I blame a lot of stuff on the bear, because I don't keep as much shit in my freezer anymore. So I don't have my frozen berries or fruit, and I don't have a regular fucking schedule, and I just have to do it. I know that I have to, obviously, but I don't like taking supplements either unless I really, really have to or need to. I don't want to take a bunch of fillered supplements I don't really need is really doing anything, especially because it costs money.
Yeah.
Like, do I need to be spending this money on this thing that isn't gonna do anything, especially if I'm not doing it consistently?
Yeah.
So I know that until I can do shit consistently, then
or
I'm not
target
gonna spend
down
money
what
on it.
vitamins your body needs.
Exactly. So I think a real hard look at diet and things will be one thing, but I also, it's been a couple years since blood work, and there was some things last time I did it that were like, definitely could use some help. So if those have not gone on the upward trend, then that doesn't help. So I think it's a number of things, not just one thing, and that's always hard.
Yeah.
When it's a little bit of this and a little bit of that, is so much harder than like, here's one massive problem and here's how to solve it. Just super fucking annoying. And yeah, you want to be able to live your life not really having to be so particular every single day about what you do or what you put in your body. Like, can I just go out the door and do this or that, to have to like, nope, I can't eat this, I have to do this, and really have to think so hard before you do everything. I already do more so than I'm like, I have to have snacks and water. I'm much more aware and prepared of that. Like, nope, I can't go out all day without a meat stick in my pocket, so even that is like, really, I gotta plan that hard just to go to the grocery store,
Which I think it's good that you're listening to your body this much and being like, what is this?
Yeah.
I think that's very important. And it also shows that you haven't given up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because so many people go through life and they get to a certain point with their age or whatever where they're just like, that's it. It's just my body. And I quit. You know what I mean? So
yeah, just not the
there's
cards
a lot
for me
to be said for what you're looking for right now,
I could 100% give up so easily and just stop working out. And these thoughts have hit me a lot lately, especially as we've talked about clothing, apparel, sizing, right? Why people just give up before they even get started. Being in the middle, like having been active my entire life and do all these things and feeling this huge struggle to continue on is like just causing all these realizations to me of like, wow, people who, no wonder it's so hard for people to get started if they never were before, because here I am knowing all these things, having been a personal trainer, a coach, involved in all these things, and I want to just fucking throw in the towel.
Yeah.
Like, good God, I feel like I can't, just for the people who haven't even been able to get started. It's like, I definitely can't, but I tell you what, I am at times like, well, I guess, maybe I do just move to a city and give up everything I love, because it's so much harder for me to participate in the things that I love. To have to fight so hard to fucking do the things you love it seems, backwards.
Effort. Yeah.
Like, no, it shouldn't be this hard to do the things I love. Like, what the fuck is wrong? Why is this going the opposite way it's supposed to? It shouldn't be getting harder.
Yeah.
It should at least be maintaining. But, it's fucking weird. No, life is just life. And some people do have to fight harder, and it's fucking annoying to be one of the people.
But it's also so glorious, and there's a lot.
Yeah. I have so much
good things.
Yeah, I've got a lot to be thankful for. My body can still do it, but I just get worried that in a few years I might not be able to if I don't figure my shit out. That's what I worry about, is like, I literally physically I will have to quit. And won't be able to do these things without assistance of some sort.
Yeah.
What's going on, dude? Like, you gotta figure it out before it feels too late. So yeah. Maybe it's just early menopause.
I think it could be that. I've mentioned perimenopause before, and like thyroid shit is real, dude. And
my mom's mentioned it because she said she went through it early, but still not as early as this, as I am. I'm just 36, but you know, shit happens.
Yeah.
Like, it does happen to women, and it's so fucking weird and annoying, though, that could be it. Where you're like, what? Like, why? Yeah. This isn't supposed to happen until you're 50 or something. Mm-hmm. That's just what you're always taught, right? And they're like, well, that would suck. On one hand, you're like, well, just getting this done earlier than everyone else. And now I'll have I won't go through this in 10 years. I'm going through it now. And by the time all my friends are like, well, this is what happened. And just be able to go on and live my life that way. Yeah. You know, but fuck, who fucking knows? Who knows?
Who fucking knows? I don't.
It would be wild.
You're gonna figure it out.
I will. So it's been, crazy couple of weeks. And I'm just at a state of a lot of confusion with my body, as you can all tell, probably. But I have a great time riding my bike still.
And it won't be like this forever. You know what I mean?
It won't.
We've all gone through confusing phases with our bodies.
It does feel like I've been going through it for like 8 years now, but at least 6 for sure.
It's a long time.
Yeah, it's a very long time. So that's why I'm like, what the fuck? Gotta get serious. Mm-hmm. But again, it's hard with healthcare, and a lot of shit's out of pocket to figure out. My sister-in-law mentioned an acupuncturist. I should start there.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know exactly what for, or like what they'll do.
Yeah.
But, you know, I've only thought of acupuncture, and I got an injury, stick needles around my shoulder.
Yeah.
But
or
obviously there's a lot more kind of internal stress, inflammation, those things that they can help with. So yeah, I should look into that. But yeah, that's a wrap for the old sturdy dirty. I ain't feeling so sturdy.
Yeah.
But real fucking dirty.
Yeah.
And
in a great way.
Yeah, totally. Halfway through summer.
Damn. I can't believe it.
Not really, but like it definitely feels that way. I don't got anything else on my plans for the rest of summer besides just kind of working away and trying to bike and hopefully getting that gravel bike, because that feels a lot nicer on my body right now. So
yeah,
maybe that. We'll see what happens when I get home in a few days. What do you got on your docket?
Birthday coming up in August, and I kind of just want to rent a house on Lake Cushman and be there.
Heck yeah,
for a few days or a weekend.
You should do that.
Yeah.
All right, folks out there. Well, I guess we'll wrap up our last in-person TNA for a while. I'll be back in September, though.
Great.
So I don't know for how long. Hopefully we can squeeze at least one episode in there together.
How long in September?
I don't know. No idea. Cool. No idea. Probably maybe just a week. It's probably all I can maximum do at that time. But obviously you'll hear from us every week until then. Yeah. So don't you worry about it. We'll continue our shenanigans via the Zoom and with some guests coming up.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously more biking too, because we're a fucking biking podcast now.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck it up.
All right. Thanks, guys. Hope you enjoyed. And as always, let us know if you got any feedback. Let us know if you feel the same way I do in your body or something, and have any suggestions to where I should go, what I should do, what you've done, what's worked for you, or whatnot. Also, we never say this out loud, it's in our outro, but rate, review, subscribe to the podcast, leaving reviews on Apple, write them out. It's an awesome way to get this thing found
for
more.
real, y'all.
Spotify, I think you can just give a rating, like a star or whatever, but Apple, you can actually write a review, and those are so super duper fucking helpful, free and easy.
Yeah.
So please.
And easy, friends.
Please do that. We love free and easy. Yeah. All right? And yeah, that's it. That's a wrap. Talk to you guys next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye!
We hope you enjoyed this episode and would do us a huge favor, since we don't have any sponsors or anything like that, and would rate and review us on whatever platform it is you use, Spotify, Apple, Stitcher, whatever it is. And if you're listening and downloading just through the website, tearingituppodcast.com, leave comments. We'll definitely engage back with you. And on social media right now, we're just on Instagram. Tearing It Up Podcast is the handle. Like the post, share the post, comment on the post, whatever it is you got. Show us your love so we just stay relevant and show up in the rankings at all. So again, rate and review, please. And we'll see you next time. Thanks.